but I've seen this over and over again, okay? Kelly Rushing was just like you in Lyon County, Kentucky. 3 years ago, 2.5 years ago. He gave a Ron Paul speech on a videotape, and after it, Road to Tyranny, a film I made 4.5 years ago, he gave that to a state police officer that lived a few doors down from him. The next morning, that officer pulled him over and said, "You're a terrorist, this is anti-government," and they arrested him for having a C-SPAN video of a congressman giving a speech. That's how warped that state police officer. And by the way, Kelly Rushing, I called random numbers in Lyon County. I couldn't believe the story almost 3 years ago when this happened. Do you know Kelly Rushing? Yeah, he's a business owner, great family. The Rushings are nice people. What? He's a deacon at the church. What about him? I dial another person. It's a small town. Kelly Rushing, yeah, he's a great guy. Owns the business down there. Kelly Rushing, no criminal record, good guy, family man, gives a state police officer a Ron Paul video off C-SPAN. Hey, sir, I want you to know. The speech was called Neocon, about who the neocons are, and then Road to Tyranny. And so and then I get sent a news article. They arrested Kelly, charged him with, terroristic threats against police, intimidating police officers, because that video, they said, intimidated him. Again, these aren't Americans. These make the Salem witch trial people look good. This is what we've turned into. And I got the Lyon County newspaper that said Kelly Rushing, 40-something years of age, family man, has been arrested for giving a anti-government video to the state police. He's being charged. He's facing 2 counts, 4 years apiece, 8 years total. And so I get the number of the judge who was quoted in there saying, "We don't put up with this type of video." The judge was proud of himself. So I call up the judge. I call him at his home on a Sunday. I'll never forget, I had gotten the number at the house. I was late. My wife said, "Go to the grocery store and get this." I'm in the grocery store parking lot. And I dial on my cell phone, and I'm talking to the judge. The judge answers, "Hello." And I go, "Is this Judge such and such?" "Yes, this is Alex Jones, syndicated radio talk show host. I wrote an article about it." And I said, "I saw that in the paper, and I saw this." I said, "Sir, this is a videotape of Ron Paul. This is Congress, and this is a film I've made." And he said, "Well, I'm not going to really talk about the case, but I did give my statement to the paper, and the officers have filed the complaint, the state police officer. They've got an office here in the town." And he said, "That's all I'm going to tell you. Thank you." He was real polite. And I talked to Kelly Rushing. I talked to others that were in the courtroom, and it was in the paper. They went in, they had a trial, and they got up and said, "Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, this is anti-law enforcement. This man needs to go to prison." Road to Tyranny, Ron Paul speech. And I thought, well, maybe they're not after Ron Paul. No. In the court proceeding, they were there. And they brought up Ron Paul. They were more upset about that speech in Congress. Imagine, the state police think that a congressman in the well of the House speaking is terrorism. And they think giving that to officers is illegal. And countless people I know have given films to people, and it'll be in the paper. FBI raided this guy. FBI raided that guy. Big gun manufacturer. It was all over the news and in the big gun magazines. Gave my video and a bunch of other videos and a constitution to the sheriff. Got hit hard by the BATF. Nothing illegal was found, but they told him, they said, "Why do you have this Alex Jones video?" They're afraid at this time to come up against me, because if they strike me down, it'll make me a martyr, and they don't want that. And frankly, I don't care. I love my life, and I don't want to die, and I'd never commit suicide. I'll say that on record, but I just don't care. These people have to be met. They have to be dealt with. Unless you just tuned in and you're having trouble believing what I'm saying, this was in the news. We have the news articles, what happened to Kelly Rushing, and he's only one case. They have passed legislation abolishing the Bill of Rights, the Constitution, Posse Comitatus. I have all the reports right here in front of me today. And in case you're having trouble believing me with how radical this is, how radical is this story? I'm going to cover this now and we'll go to your calls. And I want to tell that little boy that I think he's a hero. Just keep your head down. You're a target now in that school. Your parents should probably get you out. Don't argue with them anymore. You can't help those people there. Just, why I told the Kelly Rushing story. I said, just like you, Kelly Rushing, after the state police officer, this young former military guy, thought we're all basically like enemy combatants. We're all slaves. We got to be taught who's boss. He was laughing when he had Kelly in the back of the car handcuffed. He called up his wife and said, I got the videotape bandit. He's going to be going to prison. And I told Kelly, I said, stop being so nice. Kelly Rushing. Kelly said, well, I just love the Lord. I just want to talk to this brother, and maybe he'll understand that I have a First Amendment, and I gave him this video because I care about him. And at the end of the trial, he walked up to that officer, that state police officer, and he said, I'm real sorry about all this trouble. When Kelly was found not guilty, the jury found him not guilty. Went to trial. They tried to put him in jail for 8 years. And Kelly was such a man. And I understand, real men are like that. He thought he would turn the other cheek, go up and try to be friends. He said, I'm so sorry about all this trouble. And that state police officer, he stuck his hand out. That state police officer gave him a frown and just went and turned away. And Kelly called my show that day after the trial. A lot of you heard him. And I said, Kelly, they don't care. Somebody that tried to put you in prison for 8 years in the United States for giving out a speech of Ron Paul, they're not going to care. And the harassment started, being pulled over, being searched. He and a friend were riding their horses. They don't even drink. Cops pulled up and said they were riding horses while intoxicated. The harassment's never stopped for Kelly. These people don't care. These people are evil. You've seen the video of the naval veteran, no criminal record, Abby Newman, Rockmount, Virginia, driving back to her farm with canning supplies. She comes to a checkpoint. You see it out of the squad car windows, the video we got. They tell her, we want your ID, we want to search. She says, no, you can't. They jerk her out. She doesn't resist. They say they're going to charge her with resisting. They did. Jury found her not guilty. They're trying to get rid of those now and go purely admiralty. And then you see the cops standing behind the squad car. And they pull out a pocket Constitution. And they pull out Police State 2000. And they pull out Patriot Games, which is a Harrison Ford movie. And they said, I think this is illegal. And they had a pocket Constitution in their hand. A lot of you have seen the video. Well, this is the film we gave to the police that Kelly Rushing did. And they go, I think this is contraband. And they've got the pocket Constitution, and they start reading out of it. And one officer goes, well, I think maybe she's allowed to have that. Maybe that's why she's talking all strange. She's been reading that little book. That little book, you piece of trash, was the Constitution. And you're so warped. You're so sick. You're so mentally ill that you think it's illegal, and you took that woman to jail. And just like Mark, who called, and just like Kelly Rushing, and just like Abby Newman, you walk up and you apologize to these monsters. That's like when somebody punches you in the nose for no reason, and you tell them, I'm sorry. You called back? Yeah. Stop making excuses for what they're doing to us. If you don't have anger over being a slave, and you don't have anger over being oppressed, there's something wrong with you. Tears my guts out. I feel like I've been robbed of a future. You think I like doing this all the time? You think I'm going to go work tonight? You think I like having to focus on what these people do? It's so